This video is supported by patrons like you. If you'd like to become a patron, please head over to patreon.com/Matt Jarbo. Just $1 per month is a great way to say F you to the Access Media. Okay, so we're going to talk again about Star Wars, The Rise of Skywalker, because why not? It's Star Wars, it's The Rise of Skywalker, and I am hyped to see it. My hype has been renewed, and because I watched the Eric Butts response video to his reaction video, and I got a little bit teary-eyed. That dude straight up cried, and that was great. But when it comes to The Rise of Skywalker, a lot of people have been asking the question, are articles like this, when talking about the pre-ticket sales, to be trusted? Now we have MovieWeb here saying Rise of Skywalker tickets are outselling The Force Awakens at Fandango. And this is something that is ultimately used as a headline to promote the hype behind a movie. We see this oftentimes with a lot of things involving movies that are coming out. We see this a lot with almost every movie. Oh, pre-ticket sales are high, and they use it as a way to get people excited about other people being excited to see the movie. And even Deadline here has an article titled The Rise of Skywalker advanced ticket sales more than any other Star Wars picks on Fandango update. Now, not only is it Fandango, but it's also AdamTickets.com came out and said that The Rise of Skywalker pre-ticket sales on the first night, right after that final trailer dropped, ended up grossing or selling 45% more than Avengers Endgame, which is actually pretty insane if you think about it, right? I mean, 45% more than Endgame, and Endgame is a $2.8 roughly billion movie, highest grossing film of all time. And clearly there's a lot of people that want to go see it, despite what other people out there may want you to think. There are a lot of people that are interested in seeing The Rise of Skywalker, but does it mean anything? That's a question. Does it actually mean anything? And there's reason to back this up. If you come over here and look, this is another Deadline article from May 4th, 2018. Solo, a Star Wars story, advanced ticket sales already breaking records, besting Black Panther. Now that was a big deal at the time. That was a big deal back in 2018, back in last year. People saying, oh, Solo's going to be huge. Solo's going to be great. Solo's going to be insane. It's beating out Black Panther, which was a $1.3 billion movie. But if you come over here to Box Office Mojo, by the way, this is a new layout. I'm not too sure how I like it. But if you look at Box Office Mojo here, you can see the domestic gross was only $213 million, and its worldwide gross was only $392 million. And the movie had a budget of I think around $170 million. And so according to most people, the thing lost money. Like the Solo a Star Wars story lost money, and it ultimately ended up derailing the Star Wars franchise. I think unjustly so, because I really do feel that there was some issues there with the movie that had a lot to do with the release date of the film, not necessarily the movie itself, but there was enough controversy, and I think The Last Jedi hurt it, fundamentally hurt the movie, and I've been open about that before. But I started asking myself, what about The Last Jedi? What about The Last Jedi in its pre-ticket sales? Because that, you figure, should have been brought up as well. Here's the thing. I Googled it. I looked around for a while. I could barely find any articles talking about anyone saying how popular it was right off the bat, with the exception of one thing. And this is coming in from Yahoo Finance that says huge demand for Star Wars The Last Jedi pre-sale tickets caused delays on Fandango. And that's like about it. It caused delays on Fandango. Like some people didn't get it in time. And then there was nothing for a while. And this was in October of 2017. So right around 2 years ago from right now. But then we come over here to boxofficepro.com, and it says that Star Wars The Last Jedi #1 in pre-sales on movietickets.com. And it says that it's accounting. It's a lot. There's a lot there that's going into it. Now, people were hyping this movie up something fierce in order to say that this was going to end up beating The Force Awakens. In fact, even Deadline here, right before the release of the movie, said Star Wars The Last Jedi easily Fandango's top advanced ticket seller of 2017. And so again, they were already hyping this movie up to make a lot of money. Well, The Force Awakens came out in December of 2015 and pulled in $248 million on its opening weekend. And they were actually estimating, because of the ticket sale, pre-ticket sales for The Last Jedi, that the movie was going to come out and actually topple The Force Awakens. They were estimating it potentially around $270 million. That didn't happen, and actually ended up pulling in roughly about 206 to 208 million in its opening weekend. I think more on the high end of that. So that's still a $40 million fewer gross or lesser gross than The Force Awakens. And it did go on to gross $900 million less than The Force Awakens, which is a significant drop. I mean, Rogue One the year before went on to do, I think, 1.1. Oh, no, sorry. No, it did 1.6 billion. I think Last Jedi did 1.6 billion. And so that one, again, still significantly lower than The Force Awakens. But is it going to be beaten out by The Rise of Skywalker? And that becomes the main question. Are these pre-ticket sales, these articles, these hype headlines, is it enough? Is it enough to say that this is going to end up being a profitable movie? Now, I think any way you slice it, this is going to be a profitable movie. I think that while it's been 2 years since The Last Jedi, you have the fans of The Last Jedi that are going to go and see The Force Awakens or go see The Rise of Skywalker. And I think you're going to have the critics of The Last Jedi that are going to go and see The Rise of Skywalker simply because they want to see if it's any good or not. And I think a lot of people are going to treat it kind of like the Call of Duty effect. And the Call of Duty effect is, hey, you know, Call of Duty comes out every year and you kind of tend to hate it, but you buy it anyway because all your friends have it. That's where probably a lot of this is going to come in the opening weekend of the movie. Now, I don't know how much it's going to make. If it clears $200 million, which I think is pretty high, to be fair, if it clears $200 million, then it's already going to be more of a success than The Last Jedi. And you're going to see a ton of headlines saying that it is the number one, you know, it's going to be bigger than Last Jedi. And I think it's going to go on to gross over 2 billion. I do think that. And I think a lot of that is because repeat viewings. I think the way that The Last Jedi ended didn't leave you wanting more. It left you confused, possibly bitter, a little bit angry, and you're going like, that was it? You know, there's nothing to get excited for. There's really the boy with the broom. Who cares about the boy with the broom? I mean, I get the symbolism, but at the same time, who cares, right? You take me back to Canto Bight, easily the worst part of the movie. Anyway, so there's that, but this one, it has the ending. It has the trailer accomplished what it set out to accomplish, which was to establish the tone of the movie, that this is an action adventure film, a space fantasy film, that this is going to be the characters, whether you like them or not, together this time around, not separated. And they're going to be going on this together, and they're going to be bringing the audience with them together. And I think that is ultimately what JJ is setting out to do. And as a result of that, as a big result of that, I think it's gonna do well with the box office. I think the box office is going to reflect that. I think if Disney is going to end up, you know, if they do well in China with their little grassroots ebook situation, it could pick up, but China is going to be a factor. The Force Awakens pulled in 124.5 million in China, whereas the Last Jedi pulled in, I think, like 69 million, and Solo was like 19 million. It just crashed and burned. No, that might have been the other way around. I think it was no. I think the Last Jedi only pulled in like 19 million or something. It wasn't a lot of money. It was in and out of China pretty quick. China just didn't get it. But if they then can find a way to establish a grassroots foothold in China, then they could probably potentially earn some more money. But I really do feel that a lot of people out there are going to see this more than once. I think you're going to see it once, and then I think other people are going to want to go see it with their friends, and they're going to get drugged to go see it again. And that's where a lot of the money is going to come from. All I hope for this movie is that it has a proper conclusion, a satisfying conclusion. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be better than The Last Jedi. And if pre-ticket sales are any indication, which we have no idea if they are or aren't, given what's happened in the past, we don't know. But if it's in any indication, there's a lot of people out there that are very curious to see how it ends, and they're willing to pony up the dough for the opening weekend. And at the end of the day, a solid opening weekend with decent word of mouth is going to end up giving the movie a lot more legs than The Last Jedi, which did not have a solid word of mouth coming out of it. And I think they're fully aware of that, which is why the ending of this is going to be as important as we're being told that they're out there making it. So I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna have the same impact. I don't know what it's gonna do. But I would just say at this point, you know, don't worry about it. I'm not worrying about it. I just wanted to talk about it very, very briefly. I already have my tickets. I'm gonna go see it on Thursday, the 19th, and I'm gonna enjoy it with my friends. And I'm going to then sit there and go, man, you know what? I'm happy with. I'm hoping I'm happy with how it ends. If I have to drive home, and it's like an hour drive home from when I see it, and I'm fuming the whole way, yeah, I'm going to come back and make a video about it. But in the meantime, I'm cautiously optimistic. Ticket sales show that other people are optimistic, and I would rather be in an optimistic place with Star Wars than a pessimistic place with Star Wars. And I think a lot of you guys out there kind of feel the same way. But I do want to hear your thoughts, your opinions. Let me know down in the comments below. I'll talk to you all later. Have yourself a great day, and may the Force be with you.